that seems a little bit unfair because fourth row seems kind of bad when you finish fourth and had a brilliant ride in race one.
Yeah, you know, surprised myself there. We're pretty lucky. The team, the FS3, have worked really hard to give me a setting towards the end of the bike, towards the end of the race, and I couldn't believe it myself. You know, my tyre felt good. I was just trying to stand it up a little bit more, try not to use it so much, and then, yeah, it started to come forward a little bit. So it's just good to repay the team. They've put so much belief into me, and it's a new team and all new working with together, and yeah, hopefully we can try to stay, if not further forward again this time.
Most of us have always had a fair bit of belief in you, Billy.
Yeah, I probably doubt it a little bit in myself sometimes, which is probably the biggest downfall with me. But, you know, I'm trying to work hard with the guys. They're a fantastic new team. A lot of passion behind it. A lot of the guys used to race before, crew chief Matt Llewellyn and Dave and all the crew there. So, yeah, we just want to keep chipping away and have some fun and try to get up the front.
Have another good one. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Right, we're going to go through forward now. That's row 4. We're going to pass row 3. That's Danny Buchan. Good ride in race 1. Luke Mossy came through from pretty much the back row, having slipped off when it really mattered in qualifying. Said he wasn't about to make any friends in race 1. He didn't, but he did get through. But I want to have a word, if I can, with this young fella, Northern Irishman, Glenn Irwin. Glenn, you're having a stunning run in race 1. What happened there? Did you get clobbered in the side there?
No, the guys made a really good change to the bike, and it's a feeling we've sort of been chasing all year. And you know, 1 minute I thought we were maybe on for a podium, but to be honest, in lap 1 of the race, the bike made a little miss, and the miss was getting bigger and bigger. And I apologise to Peter because I was still going fast. That's why I didn't pull out of the race, but it did stop with him behind me, and I should have pulled out. But we've I don't know if we're going to be able to start this race either. We've just had a little issue in the warm-up laps. So.
Still good meeting, pace-wise, really good.
Yeah, look, that's what I'm saying. Look, we're not going to win the championship in year 1, and yeah, it's mega that we're able to run with them front guys. So if we don't get out here, it's not the end of the world. Be a bit frustrating, but have a bit more energy for the punch tonight.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Right, we're going to have a go forward now. This is Leon Haslam. If we can just have a quick word. Leon, is this... sorry, tripping over there. Leon, is this... It looks an important meeting, this.
Yeah, we're making a big gamble. I think we're going to go for the hard rear. We only got 6 laps out of the soft this morning. We don't know why. It was really, really bad, and we was doing 51s and struggling to do 51s at the end. So we need to make some big changes. The temperature's got up, which should help the 0, but for some reason, for the lack of track time this weekend, the tyre's just not lasting. And
you said it was going to be a gamble in before race 1.
Yeah, and just looking at where Shaky's tyre was and also Billy McConnell's in front of me, they look like brand new, so we need to make a change. We know it's a lot slower at the beginning of the race, but if I can hang with him in the early laps, and hopefully it'll be good at the end.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Right, we're going to go across now. He's just about getting his helmet on, actually, but I just wonder if I can get a quick word. I don't want to put him off out of his routine now, but stunning race, stunning ride in race 1. Jason, more to come?
I hope so. I wouldn't say no to a double. You know, first race felt unbelievable. Really nice to get my first win here. You know, I got a big job ahead in this one. Dan had really good pace, and Shaky come from a long way back. So I'm expecting a tough one, but I know we've got good pace. I know we've got good pace to the end, so we'll be giving everything we've got.
Well, I'm just going to say, it looked like the pair of you had good pace. You didn't use too much of that. Your style really suits a track where that people are having tire issues. It's smooth. It's not too... It's kind of economical. You don't do a lot of moving around.
Yeah, the tyre wear was good. Like, for sure, yeah, we made a step down, but me and Dan done it together. You know, but I think we got pace to the end, and I think if Shaky gets to the front, he's going to have more speed than us, as he's shown over the weekend. But if he doesn't get too far away, we'll be coming back at the end.
Crack on, good luck.
Thank you.
Right, we're just going to have a quick word if we can. He's always pretty laid back at this point because people are getting kicked off the grid at this point. Shaky, race 1, to be honest, frustrating, I guess, but looked quite a lot of fun that when you got going.
When I got going, it was good, yeah, but the problem is I wanted to win 2 races today, and I get so much bonus money for third, James.
Yeah, you're still thinking of that, were you mired down in 15?
No, seriously, I just got my head down and rode as hard as I could, but the problem was it was like 10 or 12 qualifying laps on the bounce, and...
Did that take its toll on the tyre? Because it looked like that towards the end, you didn't have a lot left.
Yeah, no, I pushed absolutely to the max to try and get onto the back of the boys, but once I caught Leon and passed him, he started spitting with rain a little bit, and I thought, you know what, if I tip off now, after all that effort to get through, I'd look like a bit of a donut, so I just backed off and rode her home.
were you keen on getting past Leon, seeing as how it was him that had a little bit of an hand in you running off track in the first place?
Do you know what? Nobody's got eyes in the back of their head, have they? I thought I had the line, and he thought he did too, and unfortunately for me, it didn't pan out. But it made it exciting for the fans.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, that's it, mate. We're getting kicked off the grid right now. I'm going back to the booth. Back to you.
You do that. Thanks, James. I've just grabbed Tommy Hill here, team manager nowadays, of course, for the ePayMe Yamaha team. Tommy, you've had so much bad luck this season, but the signs are there. Brock Parks has done really well, stepping into John's shoes, certainly in qualifying. What are you hoping for race 2?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're gutted about John missing out. Things were coming really good for the ePayMe Yamaha team, and we were starting to sort of make headway. But unfortunately, we've had to pull Brock off the grid for race 2. Yeah, so I mean, Brock's obviously got some other priorities at the moment, and it's you know, we've got a big involvement with Yamaha and Japan, and he's had to make a decision really to be fit for Japan in 2 weeks' time for Suzuka. So. Yeah, unfortunately, Brock won't be out in race 2. So, yeah, a bit gutted as a team because things are really starting to come together, and Brock loved the team and the way we worked and the bike, and a bit of bad luck again, unfortunately.
Better luck in the future. Thanks, Tom. Let's get to James and Jack now for race 2.
So the sad news that Brock Parks won't be on the starting grid for race 2. What a disappointment. The 34-year-old Australian former runner-up in the World Supersport Championship was really enjoying life in the ePayMe Yamaha garage, and was showing terrific promise. Of course, we got through the Super Bowl and qualified in 7th place for race 1, but got knocked off track at this hairpin where everything gets so bunched up, bundled up and precarious for these guys on their first racing lap. So, MCE Insurance, British Superbike Championship in association with Pirelli. This is race 2. The championship standings after 9 races. Leon Haslam on 139 points. Second place for Shane Byrne, just 8 points adrift on 131. Jason O'Halloran leaps up to 105 points after that brilliant race victory. Christian Iden is still in there despite his anguish on 94 points, a point ahead of Richard Cooper on the build-based BMW. Both of those guys out of the points in race 1. Dan Linfoot has almost joined them. He's stepped up above that vital red line. James Ellison has dropped down out of it after also being a victim of the hairpin in race 1. So too was Peter Hickman. Michael Laverty in 9th place, Luke Mossey in 10th. 11th place for Tommy Bridewell ahead of Lee Jackson and John Hopkins. Glenn Irwin, desperately unfortunate in that first race, is joint 14th with Danny Buchan, who slid back downfield. Stuart Easton 16th ahead of Billy McConnell, who had his best result of the season for the fledgling FS3 Racing Kawasaki squad. The starting grid is determined by fastest laps during that first race, and the new lap record set by Shaky Byrne, 147.714 on the B-Wiser Ducati, puts him on pole ahead of Jason O'Halloran and Leon Haslam. The second row is headed by Dan Linfoot after that almost victory in race 1 ahead of Glenn Irwin and Peter Hickman. That's how fast Irwin was going early on, but has he got a problem on the Ducati before he gets into race 2? The third row of the grid is headed by Michael Laverty on his Tyco BMW from Luke Mossey. That's an improvement on the 10th row. And Danny Buchan. And row 4 has Tommy Bridewell, Billy McConnell and Jake Dixon, the new boy on the block, in 12th place. And that is, the last time, as far as I can make out, the last time there was a Honda 1-2 in the British Superbike Championship was the final round of the championship at Alton Park in Cheshire in 2010, when Yuichi Kianari won from Josh Brooks and knocked the Brooks out of the championship winning position. Can Honda do it again? I think there's a very important guy stands between him and a possible, them and a possible 1-2 again, and that's number 67, Shaky Byrne on that Ducati Panigale. He's on pole position. The lights have been holding a long time here today. Are they going to open it? This time they're out, and all 3 of them get a flying start up the front row of the grid. Brilliant brilliant start for the three of them. And Jason O'Halloran said if Shaky gets to the front, he could govern it, and he has got to the front. He beats O'Halloran and Leon Haslam and Dan Linfoot to the first turn. And now let's see if the lads can behave themselves as they drop it. Oh, and already Linfoot's getting scythed underneath by Michael Laverty on the blue and white Tyco BMW.
Other shenanigans as well further down. It's just that, to be honest, was a fairly clean Montreal first lap of that, but it was.
Linfoot then lost out on fourth place to Laverty. Right behind him is number 12, Luke Mossey, who's left from 12th to 6th with a pretty scintillating start there. Linfoot having a look underneath Michael Laverty at the turn where Laverty crashed in qualifying, and James Rispoli makes a vigorous move on Jake Dixon. He sits Dixon up. Dixon loses a couple of places coming out of Agos.
Vigorous move, I like that.
Now the front three, we've got Leon Haslam saying that he's got that harder tyre on James on the green Kawasaki, and he needs to hang with the leaders in the early laps.
He does exactly that. The people with the harder tyre that are changing to the harder tyre for this race are Haslam, Mossett, Laverty, Cooper and Iden. They felt that they used all their softer tyre up. Whether they're going to get the initial grip early on in the race, I don't know.
Michael Laverty, number 7, on that Tyco BMW, late on the brakes, fends off Dan Linfoot and closes the gap on that man, Leon Haslam. Haslam kicks up the dirt. He's got through ahead of Jason O'Halloran, though. So O'Halloran gets pushed back to third place. First race winner, remember, for Honda. Oh, dear me, it frightens me when the Concertina going through Corums. They're so leaned over to the max.
Is that
Laverty round the outside of Jason O'Halloran. The Ulsterman drops in front of the Honda into Murray's. That was just a sweet move.
That was a sneaky and really difficult move to pull off, was that, I can't tell you, because when you're on the outside you can't brake. The bike's on its side for longer. Really good move by Laverty, that.
And Linfoot gets both O'Halloran and Michael Laverty and bobs right through into third place and then defends as they go down to the Montreal hairpin.
What's happened to Linfoot? Has he been eating raw meat again?
It hasn't brought any colour to his cheeks. It still looks pasty, but he's certainly on it now. Number 4, Dan Linfoot, is through there into third place and still seeking that maiden victory. There's Michael Laverty, vastly experienced European Superstock, British Superbikes, former British Super Sport champion, number 7, and 2 seasons in MotoGP.
It's O'Halloran who's getting the worst of these sort of little bits of coming together and moves. There's Glenn Irwin, number 2, just chased by Danny Buchan. Good ride in the first race until it all went wrong for Irwin.
And Danny Buchan certainly got the worst of that particular deal there going through Agos. And at the moment, the two guys who lead the championship are locked together at the front with Dan Linfoot hovering behind them on that black and red Honda. Laverty is running in 4th place. The other people in the mixture, Mossey, Hickman, Iden somehow is coming to grips with this on the second BMW. There's Linfoot. Whoa! For a moment, I thought he was almost going to kiss the back wheel of race leader Shaky Byrne. He got in so deep then.
There'll be no kissing. Not in this race.
This is the front 8 riders pretty much locked together.
Look how quick Linfoot is, just between the bomb hole and Corums. And you're putting a lot of weight there on the front end. You're going from 3rd to 4th, even sometimes into 5th gear before you get to Corums. It's a scary piece of track. It has tons of runoff, but it's still, if you're going down quick.
There's high-quality riders struggling to get into the top 15 here. Number 5, Stuart Easton, is running in 16th place.
Haslam. And that's typical Leon Haslam. When the bike's not perfect, he still rides it. He can still do this kind of thing, but it just looks all over there. There's the Linfoot having a little bit of a look into Montreal, thought better of it. It's so difficult. James Hayden has said a couple of times, and it is the case here, where it's so difficult to make a clean pass. One corner leads into another. There are a lot of a constant really hanging corners, and they're really difficult to be clean. So easy to get involved in a crash that you didn't really intend.
Number 67, the 4-time champion, the 39-year-old Londoner, now resident just outside Sittingbourne in Kent, when he's knocked down in his Spanish homestead just outside Barcelona. Number 67, Shaky Byrne, hanging on to that lead, no matter what Dan Linfoot does.
Moved out to the leafy suburbs, that's what he's done.
So this battle between the two, look, that one is a B-Wiser Ducati, recognisable by the owl's face on the side, and then Linfoot for Honda Racing UK.
If you get a look at the exhaust on that number 67 B-Wiser Ducati, just look, because now instead of exiting under the knee on the road bike, it exits underneath the bike where the black belly pan is, one out of each side, and now they've got the double exit under the seat, just like it's just like Chaz Davis is in World Superbike. However, it has to have bigger silencers because there's a more strict noise limit in BSB, 107 dB instead of 115 in World Superbike.
Dan Linfoot's Honda Fireblade number 4 spitting flame out of the rear through Corums. James, why is it doing that?
Because there's fuel going in, even when he's got the throttle closed, there's fuel going through, and that then ignites in the exhaust and it pops out. It's good.
It looks hugely dramatic. And look at this, what a race.
I don't know what's happening here. They're all bunching up now. I did expect if Shane Byrne got to the front with the lap times he's been able to do all the way through this weekend, that the field would just about spread. He dragged them out, but now
he's only lapping at 49.4.
Exactly that.
His new lap record is 2 seconds quicker
than this. And this is what's just, they're all kind of bunching up behind him, really.
So Shaky Byrne leads the way, but we've got this holocaust of riders behind him. Look at this, Glenn Irwin moving through, past Christian Hidden into 8th place. So trying to, and Peter Hickman late on the brakes there, squeezes underneath the rival Kawasaki of Luke Mossey. So Hickman gets through into 6th place in this train of riders. Michael Laverty is just off the back of this front three, but he's got Jason O'Halloran, the first race winner, clambering all over his back wheel. 2010, the final race of 2010, the last time we had a Honda 1-2. So it's been a long time.
And who was it?
It was Yuichi Kiyanari beat Josh Brooks. And in fact, that was the last meeting of the year. Josh went in as the championship leader. Kyo took 3 victories and came out as the champion.
And that was Oldham Park, I take it. It was. Because that's where Kyo used to take all the victories around those days.
That's right. Now, Shaky Byrne leads the way. Dan Linfoot getting, well, looking more and more confident. He's been having a grand weekend. Listen to the bellow of that Ducati as it comes rocketing out of the tight left-hander at Murray's. And the whole field closing up once again as they come over the rise. Remember, they're doing 175 miles an hour in 6th gear there before they have to think about braking. When you're going into a turn, even as fast as Richie's, that first turn, are you absolutely hard on the brakes?
Yeah.
James?
Oh, you're nailed on the brakes. You've got to condense your braking as much as you can. So you are hard on the brakes, as hard as anywhere else. You're just going fast, and you've got to release the brakes as you turn in. Because you can't leave the bike up with the brakes on, otherwise the front would just wash out. And it's difficult there because it's quite bumpy going in there.
But you're doing it from such an extraordinary speed, but still travelling at upwards of 80 miles an hour as you hit the corner.
What's that?
That might be Winfield. It's one of the Anvil Higher tag Yamahas. Now, in the meantime, at the front, in the sunshine, this is such a beautiful, breezy day. Spectators really enjoying the weather outside.
Now, your leading bike is a Ducati. It's a V-twin, 1200cc, 4-stroke, obviously, as all the bikes in this race are.
And it's Italian, of course, built in Bologna.
Correct, yeah. Just about everything else in there. There's another Danny Buchan's on a Ducati, also Glenn Irwin on a Ducati. The rest of the field are various makes, but they're all across the frame, 4-cylinder, 1000cc bikes.
Someone went straight on, I thought.
Yep, they took the escape road there.
So we didn't see you. It was
it Mossey? It was Mossey, I think.
Luke Mossey, Skywalker. This, of course, is local track. The lad from Royston in Cambridgeshire. Having a disappointing weekend, ultimately. There, swooping past him, is the one-meeting rookie Jake Dixon, as the rest of the field drops into the left-hander at Murray's.
Yeah, Royston's the same place as our mate Steve Parrish is from, the parishioner. You wouldn't want to live next to the parishioner, would you? For fear of, well, I don't know, a house going on fire or something, planting a bomb or something. He's always up to some shenanigans, is Steve.
Just the prospect of peering over your garden fence with his false spectacles and teeth is bad enough. as they drop into the Montreal hairpin. These four then, not just the front four, but O'Halloran's there, and right behind O'Halloran there's Hickman, there's Irwin, there's Idden, everybody. And remember, Idden, poor lad, scythed the end off his left index finger during the week. He's had it temporarily stitched back on. He faces a much bigger operation tomorrow. How on earth he's managing to hang on there in 8th place, I've no idea.
How do you do that? How do you stitch it on temporary? Won't it go off? Does it not? I don't know.
They said they'd be able to mend it better if he had the operation straight away, but he said, no, I've got to race at the weekend. So the incredibly brave Cheshireman, there he is, number 24, just ahead of, right behind him, I think, is Tommy Bridewell on the Bennett Suzuki. There's number 47, Richard Cooper. Right behind him, the flame-spitting number 77 of James Ellison, a man who's struggling in 12th place from down on the
What's happened to Ellison's season? He is a definite championship kind of, I won't say contender because he's not, but certainly we tipped him to be right at the front of this championship all year.
So the very relatively veteran Cumbrian with a lot of work to do as we watch the continuing battle between Hickman and Irwin. Irwin, who's this weekend, there's a kind of coming of age of Glenn Irwin. So. This is his rookie season.
I think so.
He was always in contention over the last 2 or 3 seasons for the British Super Sport crowd. Whoa, and he swooped right round the outside. He got that move from Michael Laverty, but he couldn't quite make it stick. And Hickman munches his way back past then on number 60, the JG Speedfit Kawasaki.
Those Ducatis are really small as the physical size of them. 1200cc, 200cc is bigger than most of the other bikes in the race, but Irwin just makes it. He's a big lad, but he's not that big, and he makes the bike look tiny.
He's tall but very lean.
Yeah.
He's one of 3 racing brothers, of course. His 2 younger brothers both race. Graham Irwin, a very successful Honda UK motocross racer. And look, and we've got someone running off.
Yeah, that's Jessup. That's Martin Jessup.
And at the front, Shaky Bird, James, has suddenly set a 148.43 lap on the last lap, and he's broken clear. He's doing what he felt that he could do in the first race and threatened to do in the second one. So here we are on the 7th lap of 16. He did a 48.4 against a 48.9 for Linford and Haslam, and he's just broken slightly clear. It even sounds fabulous on the overrun, that Ducati.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is booming. You can actually, when you're racing with the Ducati, they've always been V-twins. I've raced with plenty of them when I've been on a 4-cylinder. You can hear them going into the corners more than coming out because you get a lot of induction rod. It's a lot deeper. Comes through the airbox and kind of moves a lot more air, a lot deeper kind of rumble. You can hear them when you're braking, you can hear them behind you.
Number 47, Richard Cooper. He and James Ellison, who's racing with him, of course, started from further down the grid because of the fact they had that coming together at the hairpin on the first lap of race 1, and so they never got a lap in.
That's it, didn't set a lap time.
So the 2 of them having to race really hard to get in. At the moment they're running in 11th and 12th places ahead of McConnell, Dixon, Rispoli. So Billy McConnell having a disappointing outing after that brilliant first race on the FS3 Kawasaki. Here's Glenn Irwin once again trying to power up the hill inside the Kawasaki of Peter Hickman, and he gets there. Number 2, Irwin.
I definitely agree with what you said. I think there's been, you said a coming of age. I just think he's starting to click with the bike. It really does look different this meeting. It really does.
And he credited with his team with having found something that makes him more comfortable on that BYZ Ducati. 26-year-old now, the man they nicknamed the Tiger. There's Jason O'Halloran, number 22. Remember, first race winner. And he's having to put equally as much effort into conserving a 5th place at the moment.
Glenn Irwin's dad, Alan, is in the paddock. No mug on a bike either. He was multiple Irish champion. Used to, back in the 2-stroke days, he had a lovely 3-cylinder RS 500 Honda and rode it to some effect, actually.
We're on the 8th lap of 16, and Dan Linfoot's regrouped with a lap of 148.5. He's levelled it up with Shaky Byrne at the front. Yeah. This is Leon Haslam, who's just slipped back a little bit, and certainly has company in the form of Michael Laverty and Jason O'Halloran.
Look at this from Linfoot, just raising his game a little bit.
I love seeing Dan Linfoot getting aggressive. There's so many, you wouldn't believe, ladies and and gentlemen back home, how mild-mannered so many of these guys are when they're not on a motorcycle. But they change when they get on the bike.
I've always said that. I've always said you can never tell how hard somebody's going to be on a bike in a racing situation by what their demeanour is. And there's some of the hardest lads in the paddock that just haven't got the mettle when they get on a bike. It's a different thing. It's a totally different kind of bravery.
So as he charges across the line now, it's half distance in the second British Superbike race of the weekend. 8 laps complete for Shaky Byrne. Second, Linfoot. Third, number 91, Haslam, just from number 7, Michael Laverty. The two hugely experienced former Grand Prix riders locked together there ahead of Jason O'Halloran. And that was Laverty ran in deep there, almost touched the back wheel. And as you say, have often told me, James, front wheels lose out usually over back ones.
Yeah,
touched, he could have flicked himself off.
It's true, and the other thing is, if you're going just 1 or 2 miles an hour quicker than the rider in front, the rider in front's braking as late as he can. He's easing the brake off as he turns into the corner. If you tip in just doing that 1 mile an hour extra, you're going to go down because you'll lose the front.
So on the 9th lap of 16, Byrne and Linfoot at the front. This is the battle involving Haslam, Laverty and O'Halloran. Behind them, Glenn Irwin is breaking clear now of Peter Hickman. Christian Iden still fending off Tommy Bridewell and Danny Buchan for 8th place. Cooper still 11th, Ellison 12th, Dixon 13th, McConnell 14th, Mossy the last point scorer in 15th.
And Shane Byrne just managing to nick about a 10th of a second last lap from Linfoot. Is he back with him? No, it's just, you know, it's not much of a gap, but you think it's only ever going to go one way, don't you? Unless Shaky Byrne makes a mistake.
So in perfect weather conditions here, they've got quite a strong breeze blowing
really
kind
strong.
of 3/4 into their face along the straight that they're approaching now, the actual start and finish straight, which is a long uphill climb anyway.
At least there's no flies today. We're getting eaten by those corn flies, little tiny little black corn flies. They don't bite you, but they definitely itch when they're crawling all over.
Are they a specialist Norfolk product?
I think they are, yeah. I think they get put when the fields have been, the corn's been kind of cut.
Howling over the line then, now onto the 10th of 16 laps. Look at the sun shining through that clear visor of Leon Haslam's. You can't see the dazzling pale blue eyes of Ulster and Michael Laverty on that Tyco BMW because he's got a darker tinted visor on.
As your leaders, Linfoot's close.
Oh, and that was an attempt by Michael Laverty to see if he could nose his way through at the Montreal hairpin.
That was a sort of yard wide by Haslam, and Laverty thinking, well, I might have a little look, but it just didn't get time.
So this is what we'd like to see. This is proper motorcycle racing. These guys, every one of them, trying to pinch the odd inch to make sure that they get a maximum points haul here, because every race counts.
Yeah, Leon Haslam, number 91 there on the green. JG Speed for Kawasaki. I'll be just hoping his tyre hangs in. He's gone for a harder one, and I mean, he definitely won't get the grip initially, but he's hoping that'll stay. And he says he just fell off a cliff in race 1.
These guys are half a second a lap down on the two front runners, James. Impressive lap times being set overhead, about a second off the new lap record pace as Michael Laverty takes a look underneath Leon Haslam in the background. Has he got him? No. Leon's brave. He doesn't mind getting awfully late and running the curve there at Brundles just to hold that place.
You know what? Leon's brave at everything. I mean, most of these guys are brave lads. You can't do this without having a certain amount of bravery. But Leon's brave when he does everything. Whether it's trials riding, motocrossing, swinging on whatever you need. Hey, that's the pass. That's the move. It's worked before. Worked again.
Michael Laverty he's got that so sweetly sorted out, but does he look drive up the straight? There are 3 of them abreast as they come up the hill. Michael Laverty is surely in the best position for Richards, but here comes O'Halloran. He takes advantage of Leon Haslam just losing that head of steam at the foot of the climb.
Sliding as well.
Moment.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, it was just a big slide. That just means maybe the rear's going, even the harder rear tyre's going off a little bit.
Michael Laverty, number 7, he was a winner in British Superbikes here at Snetterton on a Honda back in 2012. And anybody who's got a bit of history around Snetterton always likes to come back here and put in a performance again. But here comes O'Halloran trying to tack him on the brakes.
We've talked a lot about setup, you know, and setup is essentially getting the bike that the rider can feel comfortable on to push to the limit, and that's important. But setup also has a massive effect on the way the tyres wear, and if you've got a bike that isn't working, these things got so much power, it'll wreck about 5 laps. So Leon Haslam's case, he hasn't had time on the bike in the dry round here. Remember, he hasn't been for some years to get it working properly, and he felt that it was a sort of lack of setup time that had an effect on the high wear rate on the tyre in race 1.
The third of the men in that picture, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Leon Haslam, of course, has been for a long time in the World Superbike paddock as he retakes that 4th place from Jason O'Halloran. So he's making his comeback 8 years on, really, to the British Superbike paddock, and that means he's relearning track. In fact, this track he'd never raced on until they tested here. He'd never even ridden it because this has got this new infield that was put together 4 years ago. That's completely changed the character of the track, but he's prodded his way back into 4th place. He's always a fighter. And the Shaky Byrne closer this time as they cross the line. 0.383 of a second is to 0.076 of a second as Dan Linfoot right on the back wheel of the Ducati.
Strangely, though, this is because the pace at the front has slowed down. Byrne's now back into the mid-49s, and I'm just wondering, he said that the tyre from mid-race onwards pushing through and having to run offline and pass everybody in race 1 and do those lap record pace times lap on lap wore the best out of the tyre. But I'm just wondering, looking at the timing screen now, if the same thing's happening with Shane Byrne. And maybe Linfoot's got a little bit more tyre left.
Shaky Byrne is in a position to take the championship lead off Leon Haslam in this race. Haslam, number 91, currently in 4th place. He only has an 8-point advantage. Remember, it's 25 points for a race win, 20 for second, 16 for third. How on earth is Christian Idden doing this? The Cheshireman on the the Derbyshire boy, why am I calling him a Cheshireman? From Little Hayfield in the High Peak in Derbyshire, has somehow fought his way back between Glenn Irwin and Peter Hickman despite his wounded finger. And he's back. He's got... Oh, no, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong Tyco BMW. On the 12th lap of 16, what a blistering race. Michael Laverty, BMW pawing the air as its 220 brake horsepower as it surges down 180 miles an hour.
What you cannot believe is how light these things go on the front. All bikes have wanted to wheelie ever since they've had more than sort of 50 or 60 brake horse. These things have so much power. Even in 5th and 6th gear, they still accelerate that hard. There's no weight on the front. It just takes a gust of wind or a little bump in the track and they'll still lift even at that speed.
Michael Laverty has a much trimmer line round corners when he's not trying to get round the outside of somebody, which is a stunt he's pulled twice. Here comes Idden. Idden has got past Glenn Irwin. What a remarkable, redoubtable ride by the former 10 times British Supermoto champion. As he howls up there in that distinctive yellow helmet ahead of Glenn Irwin, number 2. So Idden now 6th, Irwin 7th, Hickman 8th, Buchan is having a good race in 9th place, Bridewell on the faster of the Bennett Suzukis in 10th, his teammate. Oh, and we've got a fallen Jenny Tidmouth, a lovely lady from Ellesmere Port, has fallen, and bless her, she's trying to pick up the pieces of the Honda Fireblade. Steady, Jen.
It looks like she's gone back across the track, actually. Let's have a look. No, what's happening there? Yeah, no, the bike's across the other side.
Meanwhile, the battle is...
Oh, that's it. Oh, that is a big crash.
Oh, Jenny. Oh, and someone's got down.
No, that is Jenny. That's Jenny going down at the end of the straight, losing the front, and then the bike's gone cartwheeling across the track as it comes out of the S's.
Just shows how fast you're going as you hit that left-hander.
Incredibly quick. You're carrying a lot of brake. That is a really easy thing to do as well, that. Poor Jenny, she's none the worse.
Jenny will be the young lady from Ellesmere Port in Cheshire, will be miffed with that.
I don't know if she's Britain's fastest woman. I think she probably is, but she's certainly one of Britain's toughest.
Toughest and prettiest, yeah, she's absolutely great.
Yeah, she's bad, is she?
And now,
hang on.
And that was a big. Is there some?
I think. Well, that's Jenny Timmer's crash scene there. I'm just wondering whether there's a lot on the track there. Whether there's oil. The bike went across the track in a big way and landed on the track.
And the red flag has come out. Oh, Shaky Byrne.
There's oil or fuel.
That Shaky Byrne put his... it was Dan Linfoot who kindly put his hand up after seeing that big moment for Shaky Byrne and realising...
Somebody's off on it. Is that Hickman?
Oh,
that's Hickman. Looks like Hickman's been off on it.
And Peter Hickman disconsolately trudges away because it looks like the JG Speedfit Kawasaki that was running in 8th place has crashed on that oil. The red flag is out after a scintillating second race. And Paul Bird there, the owner of the BYZ Ducati Paul Bird Motorsport team, looking pretty chuffed with things because that's the race victory that he wanted It's come the way of Shaky Byrne, the reigning champions. There's his Italian crew chief. There's Stuart Bland, the big burly former motocrosser who's the team coordinator for Paul Bird Motorsport. And that was a terrific ride by Shaky Byrne. He did well to hold on to that.
He
big
absolutely
slide.
did, yeah. And whatever was on the track, I suspect fuel. The bike came down fairly hard on its top, and must have burst the tank. Certainly, there must have been flags out there, because when a bike's gone cartwheeling across the track like that, you naturally, the marshals assume that there will be something on track until they find out otherwise.
Shaky Byrne, a very impressive wheelie down towards Agostini's. You saw Dan Linfoot wave a congratulatory right leg. Dan may not have got that race win yet, but 40 points, 2 second places. He's well and truly in the showdown positions now, James, for Honda. It would mean that Byrne, Linfoot, Laverty, Haslam or Halloran, and our timing screen at the moment says Iden, Irwin, Hickman. So I'm assuming that Peter Hickman will be awarded that 8th place, James, even if he fell on the oil.
Yes, because the red flag was out already, and the red flag wasn't because of his incident. So there you go. There's Jenny's back there. Yeah, and you can see fluid coming out of it. Yeah, so I reckon fuel. I reckon it's done the side of the tanking, look.
And Jenny doesn't have bounce well, doesn't she? That was a big prang, but she sheepishly walks off. The flags are out, and all the cleaning up operations going on. So that was an early demise then to race 13 on our schedule of events this weekend. So the winner, Shaky Byrne, here he is riding through there, getting a thumbs up from Leon Haslam. Shaky will take the championship lead off number 91, Leon Haslam, after that terrific race victory then. The 4-time Superbike champion, number 4, Dan Linfoot, still seeking that first race win, but what a ride. The result of the second race then, Shane Byrne takes the BYZ Ducati to victory after a stirring duel with Dan Linfoot on the Honda Fireblade. Michael Laverty gets 3rd place for Tyco BMW from Leon Haslam, and first race winner Jason O'Halloran. Christian Iden, that was a spectacular effort given the state of his left hand, to finish in 6th place. That was as a result of an accident at work earlier this week. Glenn Irwin in 7th, Peter Hickman in 8th, Danny Buchan a strong 9th, and Tommy Bridewell gets the Halsell Racing Bennett Suzuki into that top 10. 11th place for Richard Cooper, ahead of Jake Dixon. We've lost James Ellison. Luke Mossey is 13th, Billy McConnell 14th. Lee Jackson gets the final point for build-based BMW, but look at the quality of riders outside the point scoring positions. Stuart Easton's E-Pay Me Yamaha, Jack Kennedy's WD-40 Kawasaki, Philip Backlund, James Rispoli, and the 3-time British champion Yuichi Kianari. The championship standings will make interesting reading, because the 4-time and reigning champion Shaky Byrne now has a 4-point advantage over JG Speedfit Kawasaki's Leon Haslam. The Honda Racing duo are now 3rd and 4th, O'Halloran on 116 points and 111 for Linfoot. Christian Iden maintains his top 6 position ahead of Richard Cooper. Michael Laverty closes on a possible top 6 in 7th place on bike number 7, a point ahead of James Ellison. Tommy Bridewell just outside that top 10, ahead of Lee Jackson, John Hopkins and Glenn Irwin, and Danny Buchan now in the top 15.
Wouldn't be a BSB weekend without a win for Shane Byrne, would it? Reaction then, and the podium when we come back from the break. I don't think it had a massive effect on them. Michael Laverty in 3rd place. Michael, I think you needed that result after your misfortune earlier on in race 1.
Yeah, I've had a disaster weekend. You know, we've been fast here, but I've been on the ground 3 times. Once in the wet, once in qualifying, a silly mistake, and then got unlucky in race 1, just in the wrong place when Peter crashed in front of me. But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing not having the data from race 1. So we gambled, kind of went with a hard tyre in race 2, and it probably wasn't the best decision. The 2 guys in front, the tyre stayed quite well, but in race 1 the tyres dropped off a cliff at half distance, and they didn't this time, so I was kind of a race behind on data. So, but yeah, back on the podium after a difficult weekend, and yeah, we've had the speed every track we went to, things just haven't fell our way, so hopefully we can start rolling the ball the way it should be again.
Thanks, Michael. Well done.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you.
So Michael closing in then on the showdown positions once again. 8 points shy of the top 6 now in 7th place. But Dan Linfoot has done his showdown chances of power are good this weekend. Dan, congratulations, another 2nd place. Once again, close to the win, not quite there, but surely it's a matter of time if you keep performing like this.
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps telling me, Matt. It's definitely coming close. I think I'm actually a lot happier with that performance than race 1, even though I just missed out on the victory. But again, to take a double podium, so 4 podiums consecutively now from Knockhill here. It's good form, and I hope to continue sort of in this way, moving on to Thruxton, which is probably one of my favourite tracks next. So yeah, real good weekend. Massive thanks to Honda Racing. They've made a real big effort this year with the Fireblade. You know, we'll keep saying that she's a bit of an old beast, but we're doing quite well with her at the moment. So if I can keep riding like this, then I'm sure they'll all be proud.
Cheers, Dan. Well done. Happy birthday as well for Friday.
Thank you.
Good man. Good way to celebrate it, isn't it? With a couple of bottles of champagne. A little bit of discussion going on here between Dan and Shecky. They're talking, yeah, they're comparing helmets.
Box down the grey bits. Can you see that?
Steve Clifford sorting out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Dan can get you hooked up with a bit of an upgrade there, Shecky. But the upgrades to your bike have certainly seemed to have helped this weekend. And you made the right choice there again with the tyre at the end in race 2, it seems.
Yeah, I think that I think the important thing, you know, people talk a lot about the upgrades we've had. We've had a new exhaust end for sure. You know, it's helped a little bit with the top end power of the bike, but it actually made a little bit of a hole at the bottom. So accelerating off the slow hairpins here has been a little bit tricky. But you know, a lot will be said this weekend about you got some upgrades and won a race or whatever. But I put it down to the fact that you know, we tested here 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a good test. We had a good base to start from. You know, there was no messing about, straight into it. You know, we knew what worked. We tried some other stuff. To be fair, the guys have done a great job with the bike. So all I had to do was steer it.
How comfortable were you? Because it seemed the pace from the mid-race certainly wasn't as fast as it was in race 1.
No, definitely not. I mean, I was very conscious to start off slow. I wanted to get the whole shot and I wanted to lead the race, but I didn't want to destroy my tyre, because in the first race, coming from stone last at the end of the first lap, I literally did like 10 or 12 qualifying laps, and I paid the price. You know, at the end I had nothing more to give. So I was very conscious to, you know, to keep it steady, keep it smooth, not use the side of the tyre. And then I could see there was a group of 4 of us, you know, about 6 laps in or something like that. So I got down into 48s then, and then got a gap, and then Dan got on the back of me. But luckily enough, when I got to the end of the back straight, and there were yellow flags being waved, and the slippery surface flag, and I went through some mud and nearly flicked myself off. But it was that big that I kind of turned around and had a look, and I saw that I had a bit of a gap at that point. With 4 laps to go, I thought, right, just pull the pin, go for it now. Don't worry about it. You know, the tyre will hang in there, so we'll just go as fast as we can. And I got round to the start-finish straight, and it was red flag, so it saved me the effort.
I'm sure you had the win in the bag anyway. Well done, Shane.
Thanks, Matt. Cheers.
So Shane Bird now leading the championship again by 4 points, Jack.